My name is Mark Drury and I'm 53 and I'm from the mid-north coast of New South Wales in Taree.
And my name's Sally Drury. I am also from the Mid North Coast, Taree, and I am 50.
So we came about investor property because we were looking to add to our superannuation portfolio. I have about 10 years or so left in the workforce, and so we decided we wanted to just add something else to that. And we'd done investment property before and it kind of hadn't worked out for us. And our daughter had moved up to the Sunshine Coast, and we thought we would like to be able to do something for our kids by investing in property and give them something later on, something for our daughter to live in because she was struggling to find somewhere to live up here. And we didn't know where to start, and so investor property was our place to start. Once we met with Mal and Matt, Mal had a report that he was able to show us, which showed us that the Sunshine Coast was just a really good place to invest because there was good capital growth and there was good rental return as well. And Mal also went through a lot of information about the struggle that it is for people to find somewhere to live on the Sunshine Coast. And that really resonated with us because we've seen how the rental crisis has hit even where we live in Taree. And so, yeah, we thought it'd be a really good opportunity for us to be able to do something that was for us as an investment, but it was also worthwhile in the wider community. It was really good to see Mal be really passionate about homelessness for people, and it's really good too because somebody who'd been in the industry for a long time, so he's been in the industry for 20 years, and he has a whole lot of influence around getting the right people together in the room to be able to solve that issue. And it's really important to have an advocacy role to be able to solve issues like that, to be able to go to the right level of Parliament to be able to make that happen. And some of the decisions that Parliament are making at the moment are just completely the wrong direction in trying to solve the rental crisis. And I think Mal's done a really good job in trying to point that focus in the right direction.
But I think he was trying to solve both ends. He was trying to solve the investors' issue as well as the homeless issue.
Mm.
And I guess my thing about the homeless was that people are trying to find stability in their homes, being able to know that they'll move into a place and be stable there for some time, opposed to being the house being back up on the market in 2 months and then they're back in that cycle of trying to find something else again. So for us to be able to come to the Sunshine Coast and know that there's a massive amount of development happening, so to us it was sort of a bit more stable in the housing industry. I think also because we were coming into investment, particularly into Queensland, not necessarily New South Wales, which we had previous investments, properties in New South Wales, but they were all just private sales, and we just had a real estate agent then doing all the tenancy work for us and being able to manage that for us. So it was not really the right sort of setup from the start for us to do that. Whereas when we came to Mal and Crew, it was a one-stop shop from the beginning of the build right through to the tenancy and being able to even manage the property. So we were quite happy to hand that over to them and let them do all the management for us because we were in no position to be able to do that for ourselves. So, and also being 9 hours away, had to have confidence in the people that actually managed our properties.
Well, the whole thing was that we didn't know where to look.
Mm,
So we don't know the area particularly well. So we didn't know where to look.
mm,
So having Mal and Matt tell us these are particular focus areas, then all we had to do was just say, well, this is how much equity we have in the house, in our own house. And then Matt was able to say, well, from that, I can give you these choices. And he said, you can have a 3 bedroom house there, or you can have a 3 bedroom townhouse there. These are the options that you could look at. And when he came back and told us that we could do two properties, we went, oh, okay, well, we didn't even realise we could do two properties.
yeah.
And then Matt basically just said, look at these options, whatever you feel comfortable with, just tell me. And we just put a holding deposit on that, and then we go from there. And basically, we didn't have to worry about the plans. We didn't have to worry about
Interiors.
choosing interiors and colours and tiles and everything else. All we had to do was we had a choice of three colour palettes, and Sal just had to choose one of those. And it was really easy just to go, yep, there's no emotional involvement in this. All we need to do is just say what we want, choose what it's
Yeah,
going to look like, what
yeah.
we're happy with. And even Matt said, we'd need to have a Queensland solicitor because a New South Wales solicitor wouldn't work for property investment in Queensland. I didn't have a clue where to start, so Matt just gave me a list of people that we could choose from. And the same with the broker, the finance
Mm.
broker. All of them worked out. I just chose one of those, and all of them worked out really, really well. They're all in contact with each other, and it's just really easy. It's a
Yeah,
really easy process.
process.
Yeah, I'd recommend investment property. It's been a really, really easy
Yeah.
process, and they're really good at communicating exactly what's going on at each stage of the process. Matt outlined for me at least a dozen times all of the steps to follow. Um, and there's really good communication through the whole process. Like we get emails and phone calls to say, this is where the stage is up to, the build's up to, even to the point of when we need to make payments to the builder. They'll send us the invoice, tell us what we need to write and sign on the invoice, and we just
Mm.
send it back, and then they take it
Move
from
on.
there, and the bank
Mm.
looks after it. It's
Mm. We will by the end of the financial year, and probably going into the next 6 months and the next financial year, we'll have 3 properties within the Sunshine Coast.
I've recommended it to friends, and so we've had friends who have had negative experiences around property, similar to what we've had, and when we spoke to them about it, they were keen to have a look at it as well because
Mm.
yeah, it's an easy process to follow.
I think they get quite surprised how your portfolio can actually expand quite quickly without much effort.
We haven't been charged anything for this process whatsoever, and I really like it that Mal is able to do that because he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's advocating that we should get investors investing in property on the Sunshine Coast to solve the homelessness crisis, and he's giving that advice for nothing to try and get people to do investment in property.
I guess the reason we went into investment of property to expand our super portfolio as well and diverse into different investment places, but also the generation that's coming through to find and buy and purchase properties will be very difficult because of the prices of housing. So we actually wanted to be able to help our children and probably help their kids as well. I'm hoping that by having us invest now in the future, so 5 years, when we will instill in them that they have to set up for their financial future as well. And I can see this was a great opportunity. There was not much. The outlay at the moment was quite extensive, but I think that the benefits will be long lasting.
Mm. Yeah, and being able to set ourselves up so that we can rely on super and the property as well at the same time, and having a rental income in 10 or 15 years time,
Mm.
and we can
Relax.
yeah, relax a little bit. Yeah.
So I guess when we went into initially, we were starting with one townhouse, thinking that it was from the plans, and then learning that it was already got equity in the place and there's not even a tenant in there yet. The same with the second townhouse, was the equity's already grown. And then we've also got a holiday unit getting built up on Marcoola that hasn't even turned dirt yet. And it is also increased in price, which is going to be amazing because it's already sold out, and also stage two is ready to go. They've got a list of people ready to purchase stage two, which is quite astounding. So it tells us that the choices for investing up on the Sunshine Coast is probably, compared to other places in the state, is probably the best.
There were things that we didn't know about investing in property, and because our experiences had been around just buying a pre-built property,
Established. Yeah.
established property, and what we should have been looking for was to build our own property because the benefits to us in the shorter term, to 5 year term, would be just way more beneficial. So many more things that we could claim on tax around depreciation. And that process takes some time and there's some capital outlay for us at the same time, but that the benefits far outweigh that capital outlay.
I think sorry, can I just add? I think the other thing is that this time round we have not as well, particularly I'll talk to myself. not as emotionally invested into that property that we bought. Like it's quite nice being 9 hours away and being able to rock up to a place, have a look, go, yes, I would actually live in this, but I don't need to, and walk away and be happy that this is actually for our future and the kids' future, not necessarily something that I have to be attached to.
Mm.
So we have decided that because the process up to date has been so smooth, that the property management will be continue to be with Investor Properties, because I can't see why not. We met with Andrea yesterday, who is going to be our land,
Long-term rental.
yeah, long term
Yeah.
rentals, and she was lovely and very approachable and very much laid out what her approach and her standards are when she's renting out properties. So we were really comforted by that as well. We were comfortable with what she said, and we have a lot of faith that they will do the right thing.
And then when we have the Markula property, then that will be another team who will look after the holiday rental, holiday leasing situation.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you mentioned yesterday there was a guarantee with that.
There's a guarantee for rental on the townhouses, a guarantee on Markula property if we were to do a long-term rental on that. There's no guarantee on it as a holiday let. But the good part is that if they see that there's quiet times or there's a quiet time coming up within bookings, then they can do a short-term rental of 3 months, 6 months or something like that. And it's really good in real time to have that whole team working together so they can see which team should be working on that project at the same time. That's really good for us. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, but I think the
Mal,
biggest thing about the team is that their approachability and being able to chat and problem solve anything that we go to them with, and nothing's ever an issue or a problem.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that it makes the process a lot easier for us, particularly when we're not really available time wise to be able to be here. To
yeah.
know that we've got a faithful team looking after it
Well,
makes
Matt's
it
been
easier.
really good around our questions where we just don't quite know
Mm,
because of the differences between New South Wales and Queensland, or we're not done a
don't know
build
at all.
process in investment property before, and so just having someone to step it out over and over and over because I just
Yeah, because there
struggled with
was
it.
a question early on. Remember, we had with the solicitor came, or he said you have to engage in a solicitor before we go further. There was, but he just basically stepped it out, saying this is how it works, and then it made sense, and then we went forward with it. It didn't take much time at all to move forward with it.
Yeah, Matt's been really patient.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's I guess that's part of the business plan, is when you see the people that are actually you're investing with and having a lot of time with, and they're actually doing the same process as you, it gives you a lot of know that this is going to work. I mean, it's like going into a restaurant. If you see a chef not eating their own food, then you wonder if it's worth eating. I suppose it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, skinny chefs aren't very good.
No.